You know how they say like a big reason for not allowing steroids in baseball is like then all the steroid guys would just force everybody who didn't want to get roided up to get roided up, and then it's like you're taking a bunch of health risks and whatnot to be taking trenbolone. Like I just had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. Every team gets one guy, only one guy who can be on steroids.
No more DH, just your roid guy.
Yeah, you have one roid guy. They test everybody strenuously to make sure he's on like whatever the approved, prescription of steroids is, and that way you can maybe compete with some Mark McGwire records and keep it exciting. Baseball's doing a little better now, I think, since they made that rule that makes it go faster. And also, then a player can decide, like in the NHL, like it could be like, all right, that guy is volunteering to be an enforcer. He knows these CTEs in his future more likely than not, but a lot of players don't want to go that route. This is a good baseball idea.
Hi, my name is Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Yeah, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers.
I think this should just
kid rules.
So the problem is,
Did you see him recently?
No.
He's not fat anymore.
Actually, yeah.
He's a handsome, good baseball player.
Good for him. Hope he keeps hitting dingers. Hope he makes it to the bigs.
Yeah.
Now there's a new like steroid Olympics, right?
What?
Oh.
I'm gonna have to look it up, but I remember seeing it pretty heavily promoted. It's like the steroid games.
That's great. I wonder what the games are like. There's no snowboarding in that bullshit.
Now the hardest event, the 1 mile jog.
Enhanced games allows anabolic steroids and HGH, beta blockers, cannabinoids, and all the everything. You can do anything you want.
Oh wow!
And who's behind? Was Peter Thiel?
He's like a big tech billionaire.
Yeah, Peter Thiel's involved, and. Yeah, so they've invested in this. I don't know when it launches, but take place in 2025. And it's So what are they going to have?
I want to see someone gold medal in both of them.
Track, swimming, weightlifting, gymnastics, and combat sports. It was originally December 2024, but they're supposed to announce the location soon. It looks like, but I mean that's going to be. Can you imagine weightlifting where it's all? I mean, I have to assume, in some sports like that, it's already pretty prevalent, but who the heck knows? That's
China just lost a bunch of medals, right? From maybe the women's 800 swimming in Beijing Olympics. I think they lost like several. They notified
they're as fast as the men.
Yeah.
They have higher T.
They're fucking cheating. Yeah. I would be okay with like TRT levels of steroids. The problem is when they go ham, when they're taking huge doses of exotic chemicals. If they were just taking a TRT dosage of testosterone, not the women, those poor women. See, that's the real problem. It sucks for women more than men because a man might get enlarged heart or like die, 15, 20 years early or something like that. But those women are like ruined. Like they've transformed. Their
ovaries just
their voice. They've been masculinized.
Tell me more.
No kids.
Woody's gonna give him a trans man. Any day now. We always talk about hypothetical single Woody. It's a trans man. It's a.
Dude, Woody is trans. Lady. He's male to alpha male. It's just absolutely. They'll be like, "You're the most convincing one I've ever seen."
He's gonna have a clit bulge.
Man, I will watch the steroid games. Mainly, I want to see how much more weight they're doing than regular weightlifters.
It might be telling if it's not a lot more.
There won't be any more, I bet, because the caliber of person who's willing to get dirty and never be able to compete in the real games is going to be so much lower. I feel that they're not going to be approaching those weightlifting records because of the talent that's required to like clean and press 180 kilos or whatever the fuck.
And it could depend on what kind of lifting they're doing. Like if they're just doing Olympic style lifting, a lot of that is like having perfect technique in how you move the weight.
That's what I'm saying.
Not just raw strength. So maybe if I don't know what the best raw strength exercise is, they could, I don't know.
Are you talking about things like
deadlift
press?
Like if you watch a clean and jerk
press,
that I know is technique.
Yeah, like there's a huge amount of technique there. And so like those guys, it's not like they can go to a, strongman competition and lift those giant, stone balls. But a lot of those guys doing the strongman competition probably can't clean and jerk or maybe they can. Those guys seem pretty roided up. They probably.
I wonder if combat karate is testing people. If you don't know, like Taylor, it's it's karate, but they actually hit each other and beat the shit out of each other like MMA style. It just kind of eliminates the ground game, and a lot of ex-UFC fighters are going over there, and I feel like they're roided up over.
What do they
there.
wear, Kyle? Like, I guess I'm asking, do they have
gi.
lots of?
I think they wear a gi. Like, no, there's no padding. It's
That's
like
where I was
MMA
going.
with karate moves, and the fighting arena is weird. Like at the edges, it's soft padding that goes up and away at an angle. So you're kind of in a bowl. I think Luke Bisping wants to fight Rockhold in combat karate with one eye.
One eye so far, like
yeah. For those who don't know, Michael Bisping, former UFC champion, British guy, has one eye left because he was kicked in the eye by a roided up guy, and it never came back right. Like over his career, it got damaged more and more. But the thing that pushed it over the edge was it Belfort? It was a roided out guy ruining his eye, and so now he's got a glass eye in there.
it was either Belfort or Henderson, and they're both roided up, so that doesn't change the story.
I think it was Belfort.
I saw a video.
It's not allowed, right? You're not allowed to use steroids in UFC, right?
So there was a time when you were allowed to take TRT.
Okay.
And the thing is, once you're allowed to take steroids, people took 7 times more than you would expect them to take for a therapeutic.
They can't
dose.
tell how much you're taking, just that you're taking. It's because people respond to it differently. I might give myself 100 milligrams and my levels might go to 1,000, and you might do the same and your levels will only go to 500. So they're not looking at, they look at the levels sometimes. Like I think Chael Sonnen may have been a case, and they're like, all right, what the fuck? Like there's no way this is 225 milligrams, Chael. You have the testosterone of a mountain gorilla. Like, what is this? Like, clearly you're on a lot of shit. And he's I don't know.
Dude, when Chael first explained that, I wasn't equipped for the level of lying that Chael regularly does. Chael's a great storyteller, but he has very little adherence to the truth in his stories.
He's very dry humor too, so he mixes the two.
Yeah, you just can't tell. Like if I told you I'd caught a 12-inch fish and you suspected I was a liar, you might think it was really 10 or 8 if I'm a big liar. If you heard I had never been fishing before, now you're dealing with Chael Sonnen. So like good. When he says that he set the record for the most banned substances caught at a single time in one test, I don't know if it's true or not. It sounds true, but I believe it. I can't tell.
He was like one of the very first people to see that there was a testosterone replacement therapy. What do you say it when something exemption and get into it? But clearly he went way overboard. He looked great when he fought John Jones.
He did.
Man, he looked handsome guy, and he's just like built out of steel. And he's like, and I got in there and I knew I was juiced to the gills, and I laid hands on him and he just moved me.
Yeah. What he said was this: I was juiced with the gills. I'm rock. I'm, just fucking muscle wrap, stretched tiger skin over my muscles. And then I grabbed John Jones and I knew his secret. He was juiced too. And sure enough, Jones has been caught for steroids.
Jones beat the brakes off him. I watched it the other day. I rewatched it the other day.
So Chael, when he got caught for steroids, said this is all a misunderstanding. I told them that I was taking TRT and they forgot that I told them, but the exemption should apply. We'll just sort it out. And Dana is like, we have never had that conversation. I don't know what he's talking about. He completely made that up out of thin air, that this is a conversation that other people forgot. And I just wasn't equipped at that level of lying, but I follow politics now.
Speaking of like the PEDs, I just happened upon a video I just linked that show, that like hardest punch machine they have at the UFC, like private labs or whatever they do. That dude Eddie Hall, who is the former world's strongest man, like I guess it was Francis Ngannou for a while, and then a guy named Alex Pereira like blew his out of the water. And like I guess like 2 weeks later, Eddie Hall's like, oh, I think I'd like to be the strongest puncher in the world. And then like just wandered in there and blew his out of the water. And like his punch is so hard. Like, I don't know. I feel like he could just like assassinate someone with that.
Didn't
like
he
a
get
one hit.
By the mountain? Am I wrong about that?
He fought the mountain. Yeah. It was a big strongman fight, so they weren't like very spry. But I think the mountain won because the mountain's like 6'10" or something retarded, and so like that amount of reach is Not that Eddie Hall's like 6'3" or something, so he's
they
big.
weren't spry. I think I saw it too, but they fought better than I expected. Like if you took an untrained person and had them fight, it would just look so much different than the trained people you're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah.
These guys look
by
like
comparison,
fighters.
I don't know what Eddie Hall weighs there. I'm going to call it 305.
380, apparently.
380. Alex Pereira, the guy he beat, fought at 185 a couple months ago.
Yeah, so he's over 2 of him.
He was the 185-pound champ, and now he's the 205-pound champ. And he's going to be the heavyweight champ.
Do you think if you let Eddie Hall unload that punch on your head, it would actually kill you?
I think he'd be more likely to kill me if he hit me in the chest, because I think my head is made to like flick back, and maybe he like hurt.
Yeah.
I think I could survive that because we're just meant to survive shit like that. But I think if he hit me in the chest, I think he would stop my heart, or he would collapse my lungs or burst them or something.
He'd like break all your ribs.
My sternum.
If he tries to hit your head or my head, whoever it is, but you're rolling away from it, you're gonna really reduce the amount of pain you take. But with some of the worst knockouts, there's this collision, right? Like I'm coming forward thinking I'm on the attack, and you hit me while I come forward, and combined, we've done something really special, and I'm out cold.
That's what Conor McGregor does.
Yeah.
He gets you to come in, and then he stops, and you're like, "Whoa, you weren't supposed to stop there. Oh, you're already swinging."
I thought we had an agreement.
Yeah. How about this? You have to do that goofy camp and get yelled at, or take that punch to your very apparently resilient head, Kyle.
It's very resilient. Yeah, I'll definitely take the 3 days of nonsense. I don't know how they can make me stay though. Like, is he there if I quit? And he's like.
You can walk away at any time. Plan B is
Eddie Hall's a waiting.
He's just ready to fucking kill you.
Eddie Hall has my car keys. He's over there with his big giant man voice. You can have them anytime, Kyle. Come get your keys. Jiggle him at me. I'm a sugar cookie all chafed up. That's one of my biggest fears, from being honest. Like, I'd rather take an ass whooping than get real chafed. I really would. Like I see people get jumped into gangs and stuff. They take a pretty good ass whooping, but nothing like UFC, frankly. Like, I've seen real ass whoopings. So it's like, what, you got a bloody lip and some bruised ribs? Like, I'll be better in a month. I don't know if I want to get all chafed up though. You ever running and get chafed nipples and you can't stop it? It's a vicious cycle.
I've never gotten chafed nipples from activity.
One time, you never do it again. Band-Aids or whatever it takes. It is.
I Vaseline them bitches up.
What were you doing that you chafed your nips, Ed?
Way worse.
It was something that shouldn't. It was like doing, fixing something or working outside, and it was like, how in the world did that abrade my nipples in such a fashion that I now can no longer wear clothing for a week?
It happened to me every year. So in surfing, you put wax on the surfboard to make it sticky. Otherwise, you just slip right off. And every year, as you transition from wetsuits to just bareback, this probably wear shirts now, but it would make your nipples would just be scabs, and then you'd still go surfing, and the scabs would rip off, and that just happened again for
just wear a shirt, man. Like that.
This is before like athletic, like dry fit shirts.
Yeah.
And now a lot of top surfers wear like big loose cotton, to my eye, like a very ugly sort of homeless looking t-shirt.
Probably a sun thing.
I guess it's the style. Well, I would wear like something you'd see in the gym, like a dry fit sort of flattering shirt, but they don't. They wear big sloppy cotton t-shirts.
Weird.
But they're amazingly good. So I think it's style.
I remember getting my thighs chafed at the beach, like as a kid, because like sand would get in there, and you're like so excited, you want to just keep running around and playing and like rolling in the sand and being buried by your friends and then burying them, and you don't like realize until later that evening when like you're getting out of the shower or getting in the shower. Usually, like the hot water comes on, like oh, what's hamburger meat down there? But that can't stop you. You got holes to dig.
Burns and those are my
crabs to discover.
Yeah,
those are my most feared injuries, like burns, chafing things, like rope burn. Rope burn hurts so much if you've ever gotten a good one. It's excruciating. I can remember getting a rope burn once, and like the whole ride home having my hand in front of the air conditioner and just max high. We had this huge slide that went down a hill into a river, and there was a rope to pull yourself back up, but it wasn't thick enough to get a good grasp on, and my feet slipped out from under me, and I took like a few feet of it through my hands, and I just remember it felt like it was so hot. It got hot, and it was just
That's
just a
rough.
really bad rope burn across. But yeah, that sucks. I hate chafing and I hate burns.